first rule of the Vale Nocturne Hotel was simple. No one entered through the front doors unless they belonged to someone powerful. Guests entered beneath chandeliers. Owners entered beneath cameras. Alphas entered beneath the weight of their own names. Cleaners like me entered through the rain. Slick service alley behind the kitchen, carrying a borrowed uniform in a plastic bag and a secret burning beneath the collar of my shirt. My name was Elowen Meyer, Omega, 26, unmarked, if anyone asked. Ruined, if anyone looked too closely. The storm had followed me across the city, like it knew I had nowhere else to go. Rain ran down the back of my neck as I stood outside the service entrance, voice, and my fingers wrapped around the handle of a cheap suitcase with one broken wheel. My shoes were soaked. My hair clung to my cheeks. My pulse beat too fast beneath the faded scarf tied around my throat. The scarf was not for warmth. It was for hiding the mark. Not a true mate mark. Not anymore. Just the remains of one. A jagged crescent pressed into the side of my neck, half healed, half scared, still sensitive enough that cold air made me flinch. It had been left by an alpha who had claimed me in private and denied me in public. Callista Vey, even thinking her name made my stomach tighten. She had once held my face like I was something sacred. Then she had stood in a ballroom full of women and said I meant nothing. No bond, no promise, no Omega, just a mistake, with soft eyes and too many dreams. That was 3 nights ago. Tonight, I was at the back entrance of the most expensive hotel in the city, waiting for someone to decide whether I looked desperate enough to hire. The buzzer crackled beside the metal door. Name? The voice was female, flat, tired. Elowen Mira, I said, trying to sound steady. Here, for the housekeeping trial shift. A pause. Then the lock clicked. The door opened, spilling yellow light into the alley. A woman in a black housekeeping jacket looked me up and down. She was short, broad-shouldered, silver hair, braided tight against her scalp, and eyes sharp enough to count every lie on my body. "You're late," she said. "I know. I'm sorry. Us. I don't care about the bus." Her gaze dropped to my suitcase. "You planning to move in?" Heat crawled up my face. "No. I came straight here." "From where?" The answer stuck. From my ex-alpha's apartment. From the bed she let another Omega sleep in. From the hallway where she threw my bag after telling me I had imagined every promise she made. From the life I thought I had. "Across town," I said. The woman looked at me for 1 second too long. Then she stepped aside. "I'm Marin, head of housekeeping. Trial shift is 6 hours. You follow instructions. You keep your eyes down around guests. And you don't touch anything that isn't on the list. Understood?" "Yes." Phones off. Photos. No gossip. No stealing. No scenting guest rooms. I wouldn't. You'd be surprised what frightened women do when silk sheets and expensive perfume make them feel invisible. I swallowed. Understood. She led me into the service corridor. Warm air hit my skin, heavy with detergent, polished wood, coffee, and the soft floral scent of wealthy women who paid to be untouchable. The corridor hummed with movement. Female staff rushed past with laundry carts. A young Omega in a pressed uniform carried towels stacked higher than her chin. 2 beta cooks argued softly near the kitchen door. Somewhere beyond the walls, a piano played in the lobby, each note too clean to belong to my life. Marin handed me a uniform. "Change there." She pointed at a staff restroom. Hair tied, no jewelry, scarf comes off. My hand moved to my throat before I could stop it. Marin noticed. Of course she did. Her eyes narrowed. I said, scarf comes off. Healing. I have a skin injury, I said quickly. I'd rather keep it covered. This is a 5-star hotel. Guests don't want fabric fibers falling into their bath towels. I can pin it tighter. No scarves. My fingers tightened around the fabric. For a moment, the hallway tilted. I pictured Callista's mouth at my neck. Her whisper in the dark. Mine. Then her voice in the ballroom. Confused. I never claimed her. My breath broke. Marin's expression changed just a little. Not soft, not kind, but less sharp. Someone looking for you? She asked quietly. I shook my head. The lie tasted bitter. No. Did someone hurt you? My throat closed. The hallway behind her blurred. Marin waited. I had learned that silence could be dangerous around alphas. It made them suspicious. It made them push. But Marin was not pushing. She was giving me a door. I did not know how to walk through it. I need the job, I said. Her gaze stayed on me. Then she reached into her pocket and pulled out a black silk neck ribbon. The kind some staff wore during formal evening service. Wear this. Neat knot. If anyone asks, it's uniform adjustment. I took it with shaking fingers. Thank you. Don't thank me yet. Still have to survive the 15th floor. My stomach dropped. What's on the 15th floor? Marin looked toward the ceiling. The upper floors could hear her. The owner. Every woman in the service corridor seemed to grow quieter. Even the kitchen door stopped swinging. The owner. I had heard the name once, whispered by Callista when she thought I was asleep. Serapha Voss, Alpha of the Vale Nocturne. Not just the hotel owner. Not just an heiress. Not just a woman with enough money to buy silence by the city block. A Voss. Old blood. Cold reputation. No public mate. No scandals. Softness. Callista had spoken of her the way Lesser Flame spoke of winter. Serapha Voss doesn't raise her voice. Callista's had said once, turning a diamond ring between her fingers. She doesn't need to. She looks at a room long enough. Every woman in it remembers what she owes. Now I was going to clean her floor, changed in the restroom, with my back pressed against the door. The uniform was black, fitted, too fine to belong to someone like me, tied my wet hair into a low knot. My hands trembled as I removed the scarf. The mirror showed me what I had been avoiding. Bond scar curved on my neck like a broken moon. Red at the edges. Angry. Ugly. Mine. I touched it and almost whimpered. Still carried the ghost of Callista's scent sometimes. Not enough to comfort. Only enough to haunt. A good bond mark, warmed under touch. Soothed. It answered the body. Mine hurt. Because it had been started with desire and finished with betrayal. Because my Omega had trusted before my mind understood the cost. Because Callista had not completed the claim. She had bitten deep enough to bind. Then she had pulled away before vows, for ceremony, before protection. A half-claim. A secret wound. The cruelest thing an alpha could leave. Tied the black ribbon around my throat. It covered most of the mark. Not all. One edge peeked above the silk if I turned too quickly, practiced, lowering my chin. Then I picked up my cleaning cart and followed Marin to the service elevator. The Vale Nocturne was the kind of hotel that smelled expensive in every corner. Fresh lilies in bronze vases, vanilla wax on polished floors, rain on velvet coats. Soft alpha pheromones contained behind discipline and money. Every elevator was mirrored. Every hallway was silent. Every door looked like it concealed a life better than mine. Marin pushed the 15th floor button with her knuckle. "Listen carefully," she said. I nodded. The owner occupies the entire east wing. You do not enter her private suite unless the green light is on. You do not speak first. You do not look directly at her unless she asks. If she tells you to leave, you leave. If she asks your name, give only your first name. If she asks who hired you, say, "It's me." My hands tightened on the cart handle. Is she cruel? Marin did not answer right away. The elevator hummed upward. No, she said finally. Cruel women enjoy mess. Serapha Voss hates mess. There's a difference. That did not comfort me. Doors opened. The 15th floor was colder than the rest of the hotel. Not physically. Not exactly. The air itself felt composed, like it had been trained not to move without permission. The carpet was dark blue. The walls were paneled in black walnut. The lamps burned low and gold. At the far end of the corridor, tall windows overlooked the storm-washed city. No guests, no laughter, no drunk heiresses stumbling in heels. Just silence and the faint scent of night jasmine. Alpha, not loud, not thick. Not thrown carelessly across the air like Callista's scent had been. This scent was controlled so tightly it almost hurt. Marin walked beside me. Rooms 1501 to 1506 are empty guest suites. Start there. Fresh linen, turn down, dust surfaces, check minibars, reset bathroom amenities. The owner's private office is at the end. Do not go near it unless called. Called. The word curled down my spine. I won't. Marin handed me a printed list. Good. Then she left me alone. For one breath, stood in the middle of the 15th floor corridor with my cart in front of me and the city shining. Behind glass. I could still run. Thought came quickly. I could turn around, take the service elevator down, walk back into the rain, disappear into some cheaper part of the city where no one knew my name. But disappear to where? I had 43 credits in my purse, one suitcase. No home, no completed bond, no alpha, no family willing to answer. After Callista's mother had quietly told them I was unstable, the hallway did not care. So I cleaned. Room 1501 smelled like unopened champagne and roses. I stripped untouched sheets, wiped marble counters, replaced towels folded like swans. Room 1502 had a lipstick stain on a wine glass and perfume lingering in the curtains. Room 1503 was immaculate. The guest had slept, standing up and breathing carefully. By the 4th room, my shoulders ached. By the 5th, my feet burned. By the 6th, the black ribbon around my neck had begun to itch against the scar. I was bending over a bathtub, scrubbing water spots from the gold faucet, when my phone vibrated in my pocket. I froze, phones off, Marin's rule. It vibrated again, then again. A sick, familiar dread spread through my stomach. I pulled it out with damp fingers. 27 missed calls, Callista. My mouth went dry. A message lit the screen. Where are you? Another. Do not make this dramatic. Another. You know you can't survive without me. My fingers shook so hard the phone almost slipped. Then one more message appeared. If you tell anyone about the mark, I will make sure every hotel in this city knows you're unstable. For a moment, all I heard was the sound of water dripping from the faucet. Drip, drip, drip. You're unstable. That was the word she had chosen. Not heartbroken, not betrayed, not abandoned. Unstable, a convenient word. A word powerful women used when omegas remembered too much. I turned off the phone. Then I pressed both hands to the cold marble sink and tried to breathe. My body did not listen. The scar on my neck pulsed. Once, twice, then heat bloomed under the ribbon. I hissed and looked up. In the mirror, the hidden edge of the mark had darkened. Callista was close. Not in the building, maybe, but close enough for the broken bond to react. Close enough to pull. My knees weakened. No, not here. Not now. Gripped the sink harder. Then a soft chime sounded from the corridor. A green light. I turned my head. Through the open bathroom door, I could see the panel outside the suite blinking green. The owner's private office. Green meant permission to enter. Marin had said so, but she had also said not to go near it unless called. The panel chimed again. Once. Deliberate. I stepped into the hallway. Green light glowed at the far end beside a double black door. My cart stood beside me. My heart hammered. Maybe it was automatic. Maybe I was supposed to ignore it. Maybe another staff member would come. The door opened before I could decide. A woman stepped out. Not Marin, not staff. Not any woman I had ever seen close enough to survive. Serapha Voss stood beneath the gold hallway light in a white silk blouse and black, tailored trousers, one hand resting on the doorframe. She was taller than I expected. Still in the way a blade was still. Her hair was dark, almost black, pinned low at the nape of her neck. Her skin was pale with warm undertones, her mouth unsmiling, her eyes a gray so cold. They made the storm outside look gentle. She wore no visible jewelry except a thin silver ring on her right hand. Did not look cruel. She looked precise, as if every movement had been chosen hours before, and every breath belonged to her by legal right. Gaze moved over me. Cart, uniform, wet hair, hands, ribbon. It stopped at my throat. My body knew she was Alpha before my mind could name it. Every Omega instinct in me went quiet. Not submissive, not afraid. Quiet. Like a room waiting for music. Serapha's eyes narrowed by the smallest degree. You're new. Her voice was low, not soft, controlled. It entered the hallway and made the walls listen. I lowered my gaze. Yes, Alpha. A pause. Your name? Elowen. Another pause. Elowen, repeated. My name sounded dangerous in her mouth. Not because she made it sweet, because she made it real. You're bleeding. My hand flew to my neck. The ribbon was damp, not with rain, with blood. The scar had reopened. I stepped back. I'm sorry. I didn't realize. Change it. I'll clean. Come here. 2 words. Quiet. Absolute. My feet moved before pride could stop them. Then I froze halfway down the hall. No. I was done moving. When Alphas called, I was done walking into rooms because a woman with power decided my fear was inconvenient. Serapha saw me stop. Something shifted in her face. Not anger, interest. You may refuse, she said. I blinked. No Alpha had ever said that to me. Not like that. Not as if refusal was a real door. My voice came out thin. I don't want to get blood on the carpet. For the first time, Serapha Voss looked almost surprised. Then she stepped aside. There is tile inside. I should have left. I should have called Marin. I should have kept my head down, my mark hidden, my body away from a woman whose name could crush Callista's entire bloodline before breakfast. Instead, I walked into Serapha Voss's private office. The door closed behind me with a soft click, not slammed, not locked, just closed. Still, sound went through me like a verdict. The office was enormous. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooked the city. Rain streaked the glass in silver lines. Shelves of old books covered one wall. A black desk sat before the windows, empty except for a leather folder, a fountain pen, and a single glass of water. No clutter, no softness. Then I saw the locked door beside the shelves, half hidden in shadow. Private suite sweet beyond. I looked away quickly. Serapha noticed. Of course she did. Sit. She indicated a low chair near the desk. I remained standing. Her gaze returned to my face. Do you prefer to stand? The question startled me. I don't know. A faint line appeared between her brows. As you wish. She opened a drawer and removed a white medical cloth, small bottle of antiseptic, and a pair of gloves. You keep medical supplies in your desk? I asked before I could stop myself. Her eyes lifted, flooded my face. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have spoken. Why? Because you're the owner? An alpha. That is not a reason to become furniture. My lips parted. I had no answer. Serapha stepped closer. My body reacted immediately. Not with fear. Would have been easier. No. Something warmer moved through me. Something low and unwanted and humiliating. Her scent was night jasmine after rain, restrained behind iron discipline. It did not grab my throat. It did not push into my lungs. It asked nothing, and somehow that made it harder to resist. Her eyes flicked once to my clenched hands. I need to remove the ribbon, she said. May I? May I again? The words nearly broke me. I nodded. She did not move. Say it. My throat tightened. Yes, good. Her gloved fingers touched the knot at my throat, stopped breathing. She paused instantly. Pain? No. Fear? The honest answer rose before I could bury it. Yes. Serapha's hand lowered. Call Marin. No, I said too quickly. Her eyes sharpened. I forced myself to breathe. Please don't. I need this job. Think bleeding through your uniform will cost you employment? I think being trouble always costs Omega something. Silence fell. Outside, rain struck the glass. Serapha looked at me for a long moment. Then she said, Who taught you that? The scar throbbed. I looked away. No one important. That is rarely true. I almost laughed. It came out too sharp. You don't know me. No, Serapha said, but I know a half claim when I see one. My blood turned cold. I stepped back so fast my shoulder hit the chair. No, Serapha's expression did not change, but the air in the room tightened. No? She repeated. You didn't see anything. I saw blood. I saw a broken bond mark. I saw an Omega trying not to collapse while pretending she is worried about my carpet. My breath shook. Please, the word escaped, small, ruined. I hated it. Serapha's gaze softened by a fraction, only a fraction, but on her face felt like sunrise touching stone. I will not expose you. My fingers dug into my palms. That's what alphas say before they decide what they want. The silence after that was dangerous. I had gone too far. I knew it. Marin would fire me. Serapha would call security. Callista would hear about it by morning. I lowered my head. I'm sorry. Don't apologize for telling the truth. I looked up. Serapha was watching me with something I could not name. Not pity. Pity looked down. This looked directly. Who did this? She asked. No one. Elowen. My name again. This time quieter. It touched something wounded in me. I almost told her. Almost. Dead, I pressed my hand over the mark and whispered, I can handle it. The corner of her mouth moved. Not a smile. Something bitter. Omegas, who say that usually mean they have never been allowed to fall. My eyes burned. I hated that she saw it. I hated that she was right. I hated that. For one dangerous second, I wanted to fall just to see if she would catch me. Serapha set the cloth and antiseptic on the desk. Handle this by letting me stop the bleeding. My laugh in order? No. It is an offer. Those were worse. Orders could be obeyed. Offers had to be chosen. I stood very still. Then slowly I lifted my chin. Serapha stepped close again. This time, I did not flinch when she untied the ribbon. The silk loosened. Cool air touched the mark. Serapha went motionless. I heard her inhale, only once. Every nerve in my body heard it. Her alpha scent sharpened. Not uncontrolled, not aggressive, protective. Dangerously protective. Dared at the mark on my neck. The half-moon bite. The torn edges. The bruising beneath. Place. Where Callista had started to make me hers, and then left me unprotected for the world to punish. Serapha's voice was very calm when she spoke. Whoever did this has no right to breathe easily tonight. My knees almost gave, grabbed the edge of the desk. Don't. Her eyes returned to mine. Don't what? Don't say things like that. Why? Because I'll believe you. The words hung between us. Too honest, too naked, more intimate than touch. Serapha looked at me as if I had placed a blade in her hand and asked her not to cut the wrong throat. Then she picked up the cloth. This will sting. Already does. I mean the antiseptic. Oh. A flicker crossed her face. This time it was almost a smile. Almost. She cleaned the blood with steady hands. I stared at the window because looking at her felt impossible. The city blurred beyond the rain. Lights spread like gold wounds across black streets. Her fingertips were careful. Callista had never been careful. She had been passionate. Yes, possessive. Hungry. But not careful. Callista touched like she was taking. Serapha touched like she knew she could destroy, and had chosen not to. Difference made my chest ache. You should see a bond physician, she said. I can't afford one. The hotel has one on call. I'm not a guest. You are bleeding in my office. That doesn't make me your responsibility. No, she said. It makes you injured. I swallowed. Antiseptic burned. I bit my lip. Serapha paused. Breathe. I am. No, you're enduring. That is different. I closed my eyes. Tears slipped before I could stop it. I turned my face away. Too late. Serapha saw. Of course she saw. She finished cleaning the mark, placed a fresh dressing over it. Her fingers hovered at my throat, but did not touch more than necessary. Whoever marked you left the bond open, she said. I know. That can become dangerous. I know. Does she know where you are? My silence answered. Serapha removed the gloves. Her movements were smooth. Too smooth. The kind of calm that did not mean peace. It meant a storm had learned manners. Elowen. I looked at her. Does she know where you are? My phone vibrated again. On the desk where I had placed it without realizing. The screen lit up. Callista Vay. Serapha looked down, then back at me. The room seemed to lose temperature. I reached for the phone. Serapha did not stop me. That mattered, I answered, because fear was old, and old habits are cruel. Hello? Callista's voice poured through the speaker, smooth and furious. There you are. I turned away from Serapha. Don't call me. Don't be childish. Where are you? I said, don't call me. You don't get to disappear after embarrassing me. A strange laugh escaped me. I embarrassed you? You left before I could fix the situation. Fix it! I told them you were overwhelmed, that you misunderstood our relationship. My grip tightened around the phone. Our relationship? Elowen. Stop using that wounded voice. It doesn't work on me anymore. The scar burned. Serapha stood silent behind me. I could feel her presence, like a blade laid across the room. Callista continued, I know you're working somewhere. Assistant saw your employment inquiry. Vale Nocturne, really. You think Serapha Voss hires strays? My breath caught. Serapha's eyes turned colder. Callista laughed softly. You always did aim above your place. My voice shook. I'm hanging up. No, you're coming back. No. A pause. Callista's voice dropped. Careful. Little Omega. My body went still. I can make that mark hurt from across the city if I want to. Serapha's hand moved. Not toward me. Toward the phone. She stopped before touching it, waiting, asking without words. My fingers trembled. I gave it to her. Serapha accepted the phone. She lifted it to her ear. Callista Faye, she said. The silence on the other end was immediate, beautiful, terrifying. Then Callista said, much smaller, Serapha Voss. You will not call this number again. I don't know what she told you, but you will not send messages. You will not approach the hotel. You will not use an unfinished claim to cause her pain. She belongs to me. The words struck me like a slap. But Serapha did not move. She did not raise her voice. She did not need to. No, she said. She is standing in my office, bleeding from your cowardice. That makes her many things. Yours is not one of them. Callista inhaled sharply. You have no right to interfere in private bond matters. You made it public when you threatened a member of my staff. My staff. The words hit me so hard I had to grip the chair. Callista's voice hardened. She isn't worth offending me over. Serapha looked at me. Not away. Me. She is worth more than your entire name. My eyes filled. Callista went silent. For the first time since I had known her, she had no immediate answer. Serapha continued. If you come near her, I will make every door in this city too expensive for you to open. Then she ended the call. The room rang with silence. My phone rested in her hand. I stared at it, at her, the impossible shape of what had just happened. You shouldn't have done that, I whispered. No. She set the phone on the desk. I should have done worse. Something broke open in my chest. I covered my mouth. Not to cry. Not exactly. Keep myself from making the kind of sound that would show her how deeply those words had entered me. Serapha stepped back, giving me space that nearly undid me more than closeness. Sit down before you fall, she said. This time I sat. The chair was soft, too soft, Peg. My body sank into it like it had been waiting days to stop pretending. Serapha poured water into a glass and placed it beside me. I picked it up with both hands. You'll fire me now, I said. Her brow moved. Why would I fire you? Because I brought trouble to your hotel. Did not bring trouble. Trouble followed you. Same thing. No. Her voice sharpened slightly. I looked up. Serapha stood beside the desk, her hands folded loosely in front of her. She looked composed again, but her scent had changed. The night jasmine was threaded with smoke. No, she repeated. A woman being harmed is not the same as the harm itself. My throat ached. No one had ever separated those things for me before. No one had ever looked at the ruin around me and not called it my name. I drank the water because I did not trust my voice. Serapha watched me. Then she said, You cannot return to your old address. I know. Do you have somewhere to stay? I looked down. The answer was humiliating, but lying felt impossible in that room. No, her expression did not change. But something in the air did. You'll stay here tonight. Stood too fast. No, her eyes narrowed. Elowen, I can't. Why? Because I know how this starts. She went still. My breath came too quickly. I hated the words, but I said them anyway, because better shame now than ruin later. An alpha helps. An omega feels grateful. Alpha says it's protection. The omega says she understands. Then the door closes, and suddenly every kindness has a price. The last word cracked. Price. The room fell silent. Serapha's face changed. Not much, but enough. The gray of her eyes darkened, not with anger at me, but at something far beyond me. Who taught you that kindness requires payment? I laughed once since it hurt everyone. Serapha looked toward the rain-streaked windows, then back at me. You may stay in an empty guest suite, alone. The door locks from inside. Marin will bring you food. No one enters without permission, including me. I searched her face. Why? Because you need a door between you and the rain. That's all? No. My heart stuttered. Serapha's gaze held mine. You also need someone powerful enough to tell Callista Vey no and mean it. The air thickened. My Omega heard that. Worse, it wanted to believe it. I looked away. I don't want another alpha. I did not offer myself. The answer came too quickly. Too clean. Flush crawled up my neck beneath the dressing. I didn't mean. You did.
Her voice.
And you were right to say it. My mouth opened, closed. Serapha reached for the desk phone. Marin. A pause. Yes, Alpha? Prepare suite 1504. Private stay. No registration. Bring dinner. Something warm. Marin's voice changed. For the new Omega? For Elowen. My name again. Not the new Omega. Not the problem, Elowen. Yes, Alpha. Serapha hung up. I stood there, soaked, exhausted, bandaged, ashamed, and held together by a kindness I did not understand. I still need the job, I said. You have it, even after this? Especially after this. My eyes burned again. Seraph looked away first. That surprised me. Felt like mercy. You should rest, she said. I nodded, but I did not move. The room was too quiet, the door too far, the storm too loud. Serapha noticed. What is it? I pressed my fingers against the bandage. If Callista comes, she won't reach this floor. You don't know her. No, Serapha said. But she knows me. The confidence should have sounded arrogant. Instead, it sounded like a wall, and I was so tired of having no walls. Marin arrived 10 minutes later with a key card, a tray, eyes that moved from my bandaged neck to Serapha's unreadable face. She asked no questions. Good women knew when questions became knives. Come on, Marin said gently. Let's get you settled. I followed her to suite 1504. The room was bigger than Callista's entire apartment, sitting area with soft gray couches. A bed wide enough to make loneliness obvious. A bathroom shining with white stone. Windows facing the river, tray of soup, bread, sliced fruit, and tea. Arrived moments later. I stood at the doorway like I had no right to cross into comfort. Marin sighed. Child, if you faint on that carpet, I'll have to clean around you. I stepped inside. She set the tray on the table. The lock works. Chain 2. Panic button by the bed. Phone connects to my station if you press 9. I nodded. Thank you. Marin's expression softened. You should eat. I'm not hungry. That wasn't advice. A weak laugh escaped me. She turned to leave, then stopped. Serapha Voss doesn't do charity. My stomach tightened. Marin saw and shook her head. That came out wrong. I mean, she doesn't help people because it makes her feel holy. She helps when she has decided something is wrong and she can correct it. I looked down. And what if I'm the wrong thing? Marin's face hardened. Then she wouldn't have looked so angry at the wound instead of at you. The door closed behind her. I locked it. Then chained it, checked both twice. Only then did I sit on the edge of the bed. For a long time I did nothing. I listened to the rain, stared at the soup until steam stopped rising. My phone sat on the table, screen dark. I should have blocked Callista. I should have thrown the phone out the window. Instead, I touched the bandage at my throat. Serapha Voss had touched me there, carefully, permission. I hated how much my body remembered, not in a dirty way, not even in a romantic way, in a starved way. Tenderness was a language I had almost forgotten, and she had spoken one sentence. Just one. And now my whole body wanted the book. I slept badly. Dreams came in pieces. Callista laughing. A ballroom full of women turning their faces away. A bite that started as pleasure and ended as pain. A locked door. A gray-eyed alpha saying, "You may refuse." I woke before dawn with my throat burning. The room was dark. The rain had stopped. For one moment, I did not know where I was. Then the sheets moved beneath my hands. Too soft, too clean, too expensive. Panic struck hard. I sat up, gasping. My phone buzzed on the table. Not a call, his message. Unknown number. "You think Voss can keep you?" My blood froze. Another message appeared. "She does not know what you are." Another. But I do. I stumbled out of bed and grabbed the phone. My thumb hovered over delete, and another message came through. "Come downstairs before breakfast, or I tell her exactly how eagerly you begged for my mark." The room tilted. Shame rose like bile. Callista knew where to press. Not because the truth belonged to her. Because she knew which lies sounded close enough, begged once. Not for pain, not for abandonment, but for love, for certainty. For the promise she had held just out of reach. Turn that into filth if I let her. The scar pulsed. I bent over, clutching my neck. A broken bond was not just memory. It was a hook under the skin. When the alpha pulled, the omega body answered, even if the heart screamed no. My knees hit the carpet. Pain rolled through me. I bit my fists to stop the sound. No, not here. The room phone sat on the bedside table. "Press 9, Marin had said, but my hand reached for the door instead. Old fear is faster than new trust. I dressed in the wrinkled uniform from the night before, tied the black ribbon over the bandage, and opened the door. The hallway was empty. Soft dawn light touched the windows. I moved toward the service elevator, one hand against the wall. Every step hurt. The bond pulled. Down, not toward Callista exactly. Toward obedience, toward the old shape of myself. I made it as far as the elevator before a voice stopped me. Elowen. Not Callista, Serapha. I turned, stood, at the end of the hall in a black robe over a silk nightdress, hair loose around her shoulders. For one stupid second, all thought vanished. She looked less untouchable like this. Not softer. More dangerous, like winter without its gloves. Her gaze took in my pale face, my trembling hand, the ribbon at my throat. Then she moved, fast. Too fast to seem human. But she stopped 3 steps away. Not close enough to trap, close enough to catch. "What happened? I have to go." "No," the words snapped through the corridor. My body flinched. Serapha saw it. Her jaw tightened. Then her voice changed. Lower, controlled again. "You do not have to go. Tell me what happened. She'll tell you." "Who?" I laughed, breathless and broken. "You know who." Serapha's eyes sharpened. "Callista contacted you." I pressed my hand harder to my throat. She'll tell you what I am." "What are you?" The question cut through panic. I looked at her. She waited. No disgust, no suspicion. It's the question. "What are you?" My voice came out small. "Stupid. No. Desperate. No. Used." Her face changed. "Elowen." The bond pulled again. A sound escaped me. Serapha's control cracked. Just a little. Her scent flooded the hallway. Night jasmine and smoke, wrapping around the air so completely that my knees almost buckled for a different reason. Then she pulled it back. Immediately, if she had burned herself. "I'm sorry," she said, an alpha apologizing for scent. I stared at her. She looked furious. At herself, not me. It made my chest hurt. "The bond is hurting you," she said. I nodded. "Did she order you to leave?" I nodded again. "Do you want to go?" "No." The word broke out of me. Raw. Instant. True. Serapha's eyes darkened. "Then don't. It's not that simple. It can be. How? Choose one thing." Shook my head. "I can't fight the whole bond." "I didn't ask you to." Her voice gentled. "Choose one thing. One small thing. Step away from the elevator. A breath. My office. Marin. Anything that is yours. Mine." The word felt foreign. The elevator chimed. Doors began to open. My body turned toward it. No. I saw myself reflected in the metal doors. Pale. Shaking. Ribbon crooked. An omega. Trying to crawl back to the woman who had broken her, because pain was familiar and safety was not. Then I saw Serapha behind me. Still. Waiting. Not grabbing. Not commanding. Waiting for my choice, I took one step away from the elevator. The doors opened to nothing, then closed again. Bond screamed. I gasped. Serapha was there before I fell, one arm around my waist, the other carefully behind my shoulders. "Permission?" asked sharply. Even as she caught me. Even then. "Yes." I breathed. Only then did she hold me fully. Her body was warm, strong, unshaking. My cheek hit her shoulder, and the world narrowed to night jasmine, silk, and the hard line of her heartbeat beneath my ear. Bond pain shuddered through me, then eased. Not gone, but quieter. Serapha's scent did not erase Callista's hook. It gave my body another truth, a stronger one, a safer one. I hated the soft sound that left me. Serapha heard it. Of course she heard. But she did not mention it. She lifted me. I whispered. Her arms tightened. "Do you want down?" "No." That was the humiliating answer. My fingers curled into her robe. "No." Throat moved. For the first time, Serapha Voss looked affected. Not out of control. Never that. But affected. As if my refusal to let go had touched some hidden wound in her, too. She carried me to her office. Not her private bedroom. Not behind the hidden door. The office. Neutral ground. She set me on the couch near the window and pressed the desk phone. "Marin, 15th floor, now. And call Dr. Isolde." Then she looked at me. No arguments. I was too exhausted to argue. Marin arrived in under 2 minutes, hair braided, uniform immaculate, face murderous. "They?" she asked. Serapha nodded once. Marin cursed softly. "Of course!" I blinked. "You know her?" Marin glanced at Serapha. Serapha said nothing. Marin exhaled. "Every hotel in this city knows Callista Vey. She collects women like expensive scarves and throws them away when they start asking to be seen. The words should not have hurt. I already knew. Still, hearing my tragedy described as a pattern made something inside me cave in. "So I wasn't special," I whispered. Marin's face softened. "No, child. You were targeted. There's a difference." Serapha stood by the window, looking out over the pale morning city. Her hands were clasped behind her back. Too controlled. Too still. "What does she want?" she asked. I handed her the phone. This time, did not hesitate. Serapha read the messages. Her face went expressionless. That was somehow worse than anger. Marin leaned over, read one line, muttered. "Rotten-hearted woman." "She says she'll tell you what I am," I said. Serapha looked at me. "Would you like to tell me first?" Stomach twisted. Marin moved toward the door. "I'll wait outside." "No," I said quickly. Both women looked at me. I swallowed. "If I say it, I want witnesses. I'm tired of alphas turning my words into something else. Serapha's gaze changed again. Respect. Made me feel more exposed than pity ever could. Then speak, she said, and we will hear only what you say. My hands shook in my lap. I looked at the floor. I loved her. The room stayed silent. I knew she was ashamed of me. Not at first, maybe. Or maybe I just didn't want to see it. She took me to private places, back doors, closed rooms. She said her family wouldn't understand. She said she needed time. My voice trembled. She bit me after a gala. Not fully. She said she couldn't wait anymore. She said the ceremony would come later. She said I was already hers. My hand rose to my neck. I believed her. No one interrupted. No one breathed too loudly. Then her mother arranged a public bond contract with another Omega. Someone wealthy. Someone from a family that mattered. I thought Callista would refuse. I thought she would stand up and say my name. A bitter laugh tore through me. She did say my name, I said. I was confused. She said I had become attached. She said the mark was an accident, from a private encounter. I misunderstood. Marin's eyes shone with fury. Serapha did not move, but the glass of water on the desk trembled. Just once. I stared. Her alpha pressure was pressing against the room, contained but barely. I continued before I lost courage. I begged her in the hallway, not to choose me. Not even that. Just to admit it was real. She kissed my forehead and told me not to make her cruel. My voice broke. Then she became cruel anyway. The silence after that was full of teeth. Marin wiped one hand over her face. Serapha turned from the window. She crossed the room slowly and knelt in front of me. Serapha Voss knelt. My breath stopped. She did not touch me. She only lowered herself until her eyes were level with mine. Elowen mirror, she said quietly. None of that makes you shameful. The words went into me like warm water over frost. I tried to look away. She did not let the sentence vanish. Look at me, my eyes lifted. You were lied to, she said. You were used. You were wounded in a way designed to make you blame yourself. But you are not dirty. You are not foolish. You are not unstable. You are not hers. The last word broke something. I cried. Then not pretty, not soft. Cried like the body finally understood it had survived. Marin turned away, giving me privacy. Serapha stayed, still kneeling, still not touching, still there. When the doctor arrived, she was an older beta woman with calm hands and silver-rimmed glasses. Doctor, Old took one look at the mark and pressed her lips together. Half-claim trauma, she said. Recent. Reopened by bond manipulation. Face burned. Serapha's voice was ice. Treatment? Stabilizing salve. Pain blockers. Scent shielding. Distance from the alpha who made the mark. I can arrange the last. Dr. Isolde glanced at her. I imagine you can. She cleaned the wound properly. The pain blockers helped within minutes, loosening the hook under my skin until I could breathe without feeling Callista in every nerve. Then Dr. Isolde gave me a small amber bottle, 1 drop under the tongue if the bond pull returns, no more than 3 times a day. And keep the dressing clean. I nodded. Thank you. She looked at Serapha. She should not be alone for the next 24 hours. My body stiffened. I'll be fine. Doctor Isolde gave me the look of a woman too old to be impressed by denial. You might be, but why suffer alone to prove a point to someone who isn't here? I had no answer. Marin said, She can stay at my station. No. Serapha said. We all looked at her. She looked at me. Not unless she chooses it. The word settled between us. Chooses. Marin's mouth twitched like she approved. Dr. Isolde packed her bag. I will return tonight. When she left, the office felt different. Too intimate. Too full of truths. I sat on the couch with a blanket around my shoulders, while Serapha stood across the room, giving me too much space because she knew I needed it. And because maybe she needed it too. Marin checked her watch. Breakfast service starts in 20 minutes. Alpha, the board guests arrive at 10. Serapha's eyes did not leave mine. Cancel them. Marin raised one brow. All of them? Yes. Half the city's investment committee is on that list. Then half the city can learn patience. Marin looked pleased. Gladly. I sat up. No, please don't cancel anything because of me. Serapha turned to me. Elowen, you gave me a room, a doctor, protection. I can't also cost you business. Something unreadable moved across her face. Can. Do you measure your worth by how little inconvenience you cause? I flinched. Marin pretended very hard to check her tablet. Voice. Serapha noticed my reaction and softened her voice. I am canceling because I am not in the mood to let powerful women discuss profit while Callista believes she can hunt an injured Omega through my hotel. My lips parted. That sounds like because of me. No, she said, because of her. Again, she separated the harm from the harmed. Again, I almost believed her. At 9:30, Callista came, not to the 15th floor. She did not get that far. But the lobby called up. Marin answered, listened, and looked at Serapha. Vey is downstairs. Leora San. I froze. Leora. The Omega from the ballroom. The one Callista had chosen publicly. Beautiful. Wealthy. Untouched by back doors and secret promises. My stomach twisted. Serapha's eyes moved to me. You do not have to see her. I know. I did not know. Not really. But I wanted to. That surprised me. The old Elowen would have hidden. The broken Elowen would have begged Callista not to be angry, but the Elowen. Sitting in Serapha Voss's office, bandaged and exhausted and wrapped in a blanket that smelled faintly of night jasmine, wanted one thing, to see Callista denied entry, just once. I want to go downstairs, I said. Marin looked doubtful. Serapha did not. She studied me. Why? Because she thinks I'll hide. Are you certain? No. A faint, almost smile touched Serapha's mouth. Honest. I'm trying. And we go only, if you want to. We leave the moment you ask. You stand where you choose. No one touches you without permission. My heart beat hard. Okay. Serapha looked at Marin. Staff elevator. Marin nodded. I stood too quickly and swayed. Serapha's hand lifted. Stopped. May I? I nodded. Yes. She offered her arm. Not her hand. Her arm. Formal. Controlled. Safe. I placed my fingers lightly at her sleeve. Contact shot through me anyway. Her alpha warmth was steady as beneath the fabric. She did not look at my hand. She did not make me regret reaching. We took the staff elevator down. Marin came with us, standing on my other side, like a small silver-haired wall. When the doors opened behind the lobby reception, the hotel's grand world unfolded before me. Marble floors, black columns, crystal chandeliers, women in designer coats turning at the shift in air. All female staff, all female guests, all female security. No men, no male figures, no masculine silhouettes. Just women, in a palace built for power. And at the center of it, Callista Vey stood in a cream coat, golden hair falling perfectly over one shoulder, expression tight with insult. Beside her stood Leora San. She was smaller than Callista, dressed in pale blue, her hands clasped in front of her. Pretty. Nervous. Her eyes scanned the lobby like she wanted to disappear. For one strange second, my anger shifted. Leora did not look victorious. She looked trapped. Then Callista saw me. Her face changed. First relief, fury, then calculation. "Elowen," she said, stepping forward. My fingers tightened on Serapha's sleeve. Serapha did not move, but the entire lobby seemed to understand that Callista had made a mistake by speaking my name too familiarly. Callista's eyes flicked to Serapha. "Alpha Voss. This is a personal matter." Serapha's voice was calm. "You are trespassing." Callista laughed once. A brittle sound. "This is a hotel, and I own it." Several women in the lobby went very still. Callista's cheeks flushed. "I came to retrieve what is mine." The word struck the air. Mine. My mark burned beneath the bandage. Before Serapha could speak, I did. "I'm not yours." My voice was not loud, but it carried. Callista looked at me as if I had slapped her. "Elowen." "No." Her eyes hardened. "You're confused. The old word. The old cage." My knees trembled. Serapha's sleeve remained beneath my fingers. Steady, I took one breath. Then another. "I was confused when you told me love had to hide," I said. "Fuse." "I was confused you bit me and called it forever." "I was confused when you denied me in front of women who knew you were lying." The lobby was silent. Callista's face went pale. "Stop." "No." My voice shook now, but it did not stop. "You told me not to make you cruel. Cruelty was never something I made. It was something you were waiting for permission to show." A soft gasp moved through the lobby. Leora looked at Callista. Really looked. Callista's jaw clenched. "You ungrateful little." Serapha moved. One step. That was all. The lobby air changed so violently that every alpha present lowered her gaze. Callista stopped speaking. Serapha's voice remained quiet. "Finish that sentence carefully." Callista swallowed. For the first time, I saw fear on her face. Not guilt, not regret. Fear. It should have satisfied me. It did not. It only made me tired. Leora stepped back from Callista. Callista turned sharply. "Leora." Leora's face was pale. "You said she imagined it." Callista's mouth tightened. "She's emotional." Leora looked at my bandaged neck, then at Serapha, then back at Callista. "No," Leora whispered. "She's wounded." Something cracked in Callista's perfect mask. "Do not embarrass me here." Leora flinched. I knew that flinch. I knew it too well. Before I could think, I spoke. "Leora." Her eyes came to me, soft, terrified. "You can stand wherever you want." Callista laughed coldly. "Do not drag her into your performance." Leora looked down at her own hands, and she slowly removed the diamond bracelet on her wrist. Callista went still. "Leora." The Omega placed the bracelet on the reception desk. "My mother gave me that contract to sign by noon," Leora said, voice trembling. "I was going to do it because everyone said you were safe." She looked at me. "I'm sorry." My throat tightened. Callista reached for her arm. Leora stepped back. Security moved instantly. All women, black suits. Silent. Callista froze before touching her. Serapha looked at the head of security. "Escort Alpha Vey out." Callista's eyes blazed. "You will regret humiliating me." Serapha's gaze did not flicker. "No. I rarely regret accuracy." The security team closed in. Callista looked at me one last time. There it was. The hook. The demand. The invisible leash she expected me to feel. Come back. Apologize. Need me. I felt the bond twitch. A weak, ugly pull. Then Serapha's scent moved softly beside me. Not forcing. Just present. Night jasmine after rain. Second truth. A better one. I lifted my chin. Callista saw it and understood. Her face twisted. Then she was escorted through the front doors and out into the morning. The lobby breathed it again. Leora stood shaking beside the reception desk. Marin approached her gently. "Tia?" Leora blinked. "What Tia?" Marin repeated. It's what we offer women after they narrowly avoid disasters." Broken laugh escaped me. Leora looked at me, then nodded. "Yes, please." Serapha turned to me. "You did well." The words were simple, too simple for the way they landed. My eyes stung. I almost didn't. Almost is not the same as didn't. I looked toward the front doors. First time in days, the world beyond them did not look like a place I had been thrown into. Looked like a place I might eventually enter by choice. The rest of the day passed strangely. I did not return to cleaning, as Marin said. My trial shift had been interrupted by aristocratic nonsense, and therefore would resume when I could stand, without looking like a haunted candle. Leora stayed in a private lounge until her sister came to get her. Not Callista's circle. Not a contract lawyer. Her sister. Soft-spoken alpha woman with worried eyes who wrapped Leora in a coat and thanked me twice through tears. I did not know what to do with thanks, so I nodded and said, "I hope you're safe." Leora looked at my bandage. "You too." By evening, the hotel had turned golden again. Guests checked in. Suitcases rolled. Staff moved with quiet precision. And I sat in suite 1504, wearing borrowed pajamas, eating soup because Marin threatened to supervise every spoonful. Serapha did not visit. That was good. That was respectful. That was exactly what she had promised. So why did I keep listening for her knock? I hated myself a little for it, not because wanting comfort was wrong, because my wanting had betrayed me before. A knock came at 8. I froze. Marin's voice followed. "It's me," and opened the door. Marin entered with fresh bandages, tea, and a look that suggested she had never once believed in personal boundaries when soup was unfinished. "Doctor says the wound is closing better." I sat on the couch. Good. Marin changed the dressing with efficient hands. Serapha Voss asked if you needed anything. My heart betrayed me. It beat harder. Marin noticed. Naturally. She did not ask to come. "Oh, pointed?" "No," Marin hummed. It was the least believing sound I had ever heard. I looked away. "She scares me." "Good." I stared at her. Marin shrugged. "Some women should scare you. It means your instincts still work." "That's not comforting." "Comfort is overrated. Accuracy saves lives." I touched the bandage. "I don't know what she wants." Marin's expression became unreadable. "Serapha Voss?" I nodded. Marin packed the supplies. "Maybe nothing. No alpha wants nothing." Marin looked at me for a long second. Then, "Maybe she wants you to learn that wanting doesn't have to become taking." I had no answer. After Marin left, stood at the window until the city blurred. My phone was silent, Callista blocked, her number deleted. Still, I felt her absence like a bruise. This was the humiliating part. Even after cruelty, the body grieved routine. Even after betrayal, the heart reached for the last place it had been held, even if that place had teeth. I pressed my forehead to the glass. "You're not hers," I whispered to my reflection. It did not sound true yet, but it sounded possible. The next morning I returned to work, Marin argued. "Doctor," Zolde argued. Even Serapha, through a message delivered by Marin, suggested rest. I said no, not because I was strong, because I needed to clean something and have it stay clean. I needed a list, a cart, a hallway, tasks that ended when the towels were folded and the sink shone. Marin gave me the 4th floor, not the 15th. I'm not fragile, I said. No, Marin replied. You're injured. Learn the difference. So I cleaned fourth-floor guest rooms, while rain tapped the windows and wealthy women ordered breakfast behind closed doors. By noon, my body ached in ordinary ways. That felt good. Ordinary pain was honest. At 2, guest in room 407 snapped her fingers at me. Fresh towels. I looked at the stack in my cart. Yes, Mum, she sniffed. You're new. Yes. Her eyes moved to my neck. The ribbon was gone now. The bandage was visible. What happened? I froze. Before I could answer, another voice came from behind me. An accident. Serapha. I turned too quickly. She stood in the corridor in a charcoal suit, hair pinned, expression unreadable. The guest straightened. Serapha Voss. I didn't realize. That questioning injured staff was part of your stay? Guest flushed. I only asked, and now you have been answered. The guests took the towels and closed the door. My heart pounded. Serapha looked at me. Do you want me to stop appearing at convenient moments? A laugh escaped me before I could stop it. Her eyes warmed almost imperceptibly. I looked down at my cart. It does make it hard to prove I can handle things. You handled her. I corrected the environment. That sounds like a very rich way to say you scared her. It was efficient. This time, I smiled. A small one, but real. Serapha saw it. The air changed. Not dramatically, not like a storm, like a match struck in a dark room. Her gaze dropped to my mouth for half a second. Only half. But I felt it everywhere. Then she looked away. Dr. Isolde says you should not overwork. Everyone in this hotel report on me? Yes. I blinked. She continued perfectly calm. You are injured, new, and currently being targeted by a vindictive alpha with poor impulse control. Information is useful. That should annoy me. Does it? A little. Only a little? I looked up. Her face was composed. But her eyes were not cold now. They were watching me too carefully. She found each honest answer valuable. Like she was collecting them, not to use against me, but to understand the shape of me. That was more dangerous than flirting. Flirting I could dismiss. This felt like being seen. Yes, I said. Only a little. Good. Good. I can work with a little. My pulse jumped. Serapha's nostrils flared slightly. She sensed it. Of course she did. Heat rose to my cheeks. Her gaze shifted away, immediately, giving me privacy from my own reaction. That did something terrible to me, as Callista had always used my reactions. A blush, a scent change, a tremble. She would smile and step closer until I had nowhere to put my wanting but into her hands. Serapha stepped back. I'll leave you to your work. Serapha Voss? She paused. The title felt suddenly too formal, too cold. I said, for correcting the environment? Another smile tugged at me. For not making me feel stupid. Serapha's face softened. Elowen, anyone who made you feel stupid for responding to pain was benefiting from your silence. Then she walked away, stood in the corridor for a full minute, holding towels like a fool. By the end of the week, I had learned several things. 1, the Vale Nocturne ran on discipline, secrets, and Marin's ability to appear anywhere with a clipboard. 2, Serapha Voss never ate lunch in public, never raised her voice, and never wasted a word. 3, every woman on staff adored her with the terrified loyalty usually reserved for queens and storms. 4, I was healing, not quickly, not cleanly, but truly. The mark scabbed, the pain faded, the bond pull weakened. Callista tried twice to send flowers. Both arrangements were returned. The third time she sent a handwritten letter, Marin burned it in a silver ashtray behind the kitchen, without asking me. I should have been angry. Instead, I hugged her, stiffened, like I had attacked her, then patted my back exactly twice. There, she said, as if affection was a minor workplace injury. For 7 days, Serapha kept distance. She asked through Marin. She ensured my shifts ended before exhaustion, proved staff housing for me in a small room on the 10th floor, usually reserved for senior attendants. She did not come to my door, did not ask for gratitude. She did not turn protection into possession. And 'cause she did none of those things, I began to want her presence, with a hunger that frightened me more than Callista ever had. Wanting a cruel alpha had been tragic. Wanting a careful one felt dangerous. Because careful alphas made hope seem reasonable. On the 8th night, I found Serapha in the library lounge. I had not meant to. The lounge was closed for cleaning. I entered with my cart and found her standing by the fireplace, holding a glass of water, reading a document with her head slightly tilted. No guests, no staff, just firelight and her. She looked up. "I can leave," she said, the owner, offering to leave her own lounge. I gripped the cart handle. "No, I can come back. I'm finished." She placed the document on the table. Neither of us moved. The fire cracked softly. I noticed then that she looked tired, not weak. Never weak, tired in a way that expensive clothes could not hide. Shadows beneath her eyes. Tension at the corner of her mouth. A stiffness in her shoulders. "Work too much," I said. Her brow lifted. "So, I'm told. Do you listen?" "Rarely. That seems unhealthy. Likely." A quiet beat passed. Then, possibly. She smiled, not almost, not barely. A real smile, small, private, gone quickly. But I saw it, and my entire body warmed. Serapha noticed that too. The smile faded, replaced by restraint. She reached for the document. I should go, because I reacted. Her hand stilled, could not believe I had said it. Neither could she. But I was tired of rooms full of unsaid things. Serapha slowly turned back. Elowen, my name in that voice. A warning and a plea. I stood very still. "When I react to you," I said, my voice shaking, "you always look away." Jaw tightened. "Yes." "Why?" "Because your body has been used against you." The honesty struck me silent. She continued, voice lower. "Because you are healing from a wound made by an alpha who confused desire with ownership. 'Cause you are under my protection and employed in my hotel. Because if I let myself enjoy your reactions too openly, I may become another powerful woman taking more than she has earned." My breath caught. There it was. The thing I feared, named so clearly it could no longer hide under the bed. "And do you?" I whispered. Her eyes held mine. "Do I what? Enjoy them?" The fire cracked. Serapha looked at me for a long moment. When she answered, her voice was rougher. "Yes." My fingers tightened around the cart. Heat moved through me. Not shame. Not exactly. Fear. Want. Both. Serapha did not step closer. That restraint felt like hands on my skin. You should not ask questions you are not ready to hear." "Answered," she said. "I'm tired of everyone deciding what I'm ready for." Something flashed in her eyes. Respect again, and hunger beneath it, controlled. Leashed. But there, my Omega recognized it and nearly trembled. I lifted my chin. "I'm not asking you to do anything. I know. I'm just asking you not to look away every time I remember I'm alive." Serapha inhaled slowly. The room seemed to inhale with her. Then she set the document down. "Then I won't." The next silence was not empty. It was full. My pulse beat in my throat. in my wrists, under the healing mark. Serapha looked at me, fully, no hiding, no polite retreat. Gaze moved from my eyes to my mouth, then to the bandage at my neck, then back to my eyes. Not taking, not claiming, seeing, my lips parted, scent deepened. Night jasmine, smoke, rain on warm stone. I gripped the cart because my knees had become unreliable. Serapha's voice dropped. Is too much? Yes, no, maybe. I did not know. So I chose one true thing. I don't want you to stop looking. Her eyes darkened. Then I won't. Sound nearly left me. I swallowed it. Serapha heard it anyway. The corner of her mouth tightened like restraint hurt. Good. I wanted it to hurt a little. Not cruelly. Not like punishment. But because I was tired of being the only one undone. Then the staff radio on my cart crackled. Marin's voice cut through the room. Elowen, you are in the library lounge pretending not to flirt with the owner. Please remember room 612 still needs towels. My soul left my body. Serapha closed her eyes. For 1 second, I thought she might laugh. She did not, but it was close, very close. I grabbed the radio with shaking hands. I'm going now, Marin replied. Excellent. Denial is best done while moving. The radio went silent. My face burned so hot, I feared the sprinklers might activate. Serapha opened her eyes. This time the smile stayed longer. I should increase Marin's salary. I should quit and move countries. That would make room 612 very unhappy. I covered my face. Serapha's soft laugh reached me then. Barely audible, low, beautiful. It curled around my spine. When I lowered my hands, she was watching me with warmth she no longer tried to hide. Not entirely. Go, she said gently, before Marin comes to collect you herself. Pushed the cart toward the door. At the threshold I looked back. Serapha stood by the fire, silver-gray eyes fixed on me. Still controlled, still dangerous. Still not looking away. That night I dreamed of her, not explicitly. Not in a way I could name without blushing into my pillow. I dreamed of hands that asked. Of locked doors that kept danger out instead of trapping me in. Of a voice saying, "You may refuse," until the words became a kind of prayer. By the second week, the hotel stopped feeling like a hiding place. It began to feel like a world. I learned which guests tipped well and which left rooms like crime scenes. I learned that the pastry chef, Ivara, could make any woman confess with enough cinnamon. I learned that the front desk manager, Solène, had memorized the facial expressions of every cheating alpha in the city and could predict scandal before breakfast. All women. Every corridor, staff room. Every security post. Women with keys, women with knives, women with ledgers, women with tired feet and sharp eyes and laughter that filled the kitchen. After midnight. No male voices, no male footsteps, no male shadows. The Vale Nocturne became the first place in my life where I did not have to scan a room. For danger shaped like expectation. Danger still existed. It wore perfume, heels, uniforms, silken power. I knew that well enough. Still here, danger also had rules, and Serapha Voss enforced them. Callista tried to enter the hotel again on the 10th day. This time she brought her mother. Tavia Vey was a silver-haired alpha matriarch with a vase, with a face like polished bone and eyes that had never once considered apology useful. She did not come through the front doors shouting. Women like Octavia did not shout. She requested a meeting. Serapha accepted. That was how I knew something was wrong. Marin found me in the laundry room folding sheets. Alpha. Voss wants you off the lobby floors until further notice. My fingers froze. Callista and her mother. The sheet slipped from my hands. Marin caught it. Breathe. I am. You are folding like the linen insulted your ancestry. I tried to laugh. Failed. Why are they here? To negotiate, I imagine. The word made my stomach turn. Negotiate. As if I were a contract clause. As if my throat were a disputed property line. Does Serapha know I didn't want? Marin's expression stopped me. Do not insult that woman's intelligence in my laundry room. I closed my mouth. Marin softened. She knows. What if they threaten the hotel? Marin snorted. Child, women have threatened this hotel since before you were born. The hotel remains. Most of them do not. I should have felt better. I did not. Because Callista knew how to rot a room without touching the walls. An hour later, Serapha sent for me, not to the lobby, to the 15th floor office. My heart pounded all the way up. When I entered, Serapha stood behind her desk. Callista and Octavia sat across from her. Both turned to look at me. Callista's face changed first. Pain, anger, possession, want. All of it twisted together. It hit me harder than expected. She looked tired. For one traitorous second, I remembered the woman who had once held me through a thunderstorm and whispered that my fear was safe with her. Then I remembered the ballroom, the messages, the mark. My body steadied. Octavia, Vale looked me over, like an item returned damaged. Elowen, she said. You've caused quite a mess. Serapha's voice cut through the room. Careful. Octavia's gaze shifted to her. I meant no offense. Meant exactly as much as you thought you could afford. The room chilled. Callista stood. Elowen, can we please speak privately? No, said. The words surprised all of us, especially me. Callista's eyes flickered. No? No? Her jaw tightened. We were together for 8 months. Private. I loved you. I almost broke. Almost. Then I looked at Serapha. She was not watching Callista. She was watching me. Not guiding. Not rescuing. Witnessing. I turned back. You loved having me when no one could see. Callista flinched. Octavia sighed. Emotional display is unnecessary. We are prepared to offer compensation for any misunderstanding. Compensation. I laughed. The sound came out thin. For my neck? Octavia's mouth tightened. For your discretion. Serapha's hands flattened on the desk. The wood groaned. Callista looked sharply at her. Octavia did not. She was too arrogant to notice weather changing indoors. We can arrange a comfortable apartment, Octavia continued. A stipend. Medical care. In exchange, you will sign a statement confirming the mark was consensual and non-binding. My stomach turned. Callista looked away. That told me enough. You knew, I whispered. She did not answer. You knew your mother was going to offer this. Callista's face twisted. I'm trying to protect you. The old line. The old poison. I shook my head. Trying to protect yourself from what you did. Octavia rose. Slowly. You should be grateful. Many Omegas would be pleased with such generous terms. Serapha moved around the desk. Not fast, not loud. But the room obeyed. Octavia finally looked at her properly. Serapha stopped beside me, not in front of me. Beside. A choice. A statement. Alpha Vey, Serapha said. Tyne. You entered my hotel, sat in my office, insulted my employee, attempted to purchase silence regarding bond abuse, and called it generosity. Octavia's eyes narrowed. Bond abuse is an ugly accusation. Yes. Serapha's voice was colder than glass. It is. Callista stepped forward. Alpha Voss, please. This doesn't concern you. Serapha looked at her. For the first time, I saw true contempt on her face. It was quiet. Devastating. You wounded an Omega under my roof. I wounded her before she came here. That is not the defense you think it is. Silence. Then Octavia smiled. It was not pleasant. You are very protective of a cleaner. My heart stopped. There it was, the blade. Not aimed at Serapha. Aimed at me. Serapha's expression did not change. But her scent vanished. Completely. The room went scentless. That was worse than anger. That was an alpha, locking every door inside herself. She is a member of my staff, Serapha said. She is an injured Omega. She is a witness to your daughter's misconduct. And she is a woman who has already said no. Any one of those would be enough. Octavia's smile thinned. And if I make this public? My breath caught. Serapha tilted her head. You are threatening to publicly announce that your daughter half-claimed an Omega in secret, denied her during a contract ceremony, then attempted to coerce her into silence. Octavia went still. Serapha continued. I encourage you to try. Callista whispered. Mother. Octavia's eyes hardened. You have made an enemy. Serapha's mouth curved slightly. Not warmth, not humor. Predation. No, Alphave. I have accepted a delivery. Octavia did not understand at first. Then Serapha pressed a button on her desk. The office door opened. Marin entered with Solène. From the front desk, the head of security, and Dr. Isolde. All women, all silent. All carrying folders. My pulse thudded. Serapha looked at Octavia. Your threats, your daughter's messages. The attempted entry. The offer of compensation. Dr. Isolde's medical assessment. Elowen's statement have been documented. Copies were delivered to the Bond Ethics Council 17 minutes ago. Callista went white. Octavia's face lost all warmth. You wouldn't. I did. The room seemed to tilt. Callista looked at me. Elowen. For once. My name in her mouth did not pull me closer. It made me tired. You should have admitted it was real, I said. Her eyes filled. Maybe with regret. Maybe with fear. Maybe with the grief of losing control. I was scared, she whispered. I believed her. That was the worst part. I believed she had been scared. Of her mother. Of losing power. Of wanting me. Of being seen wanting someone beneath her rank. But her fear had still become my wound. I was scared too, I said. You left me alone with it. Callista had no answer. Octavia turned toward the door. This is not finished. Serapha's voice followed her. For your family, no. It is not. Security escorted them out. When the door closed, my legs shook. Marin moved, but Serapha got there first. She did not touch me. She only stood near enough that I could chose. I stepped into her, not fully. Just enough for my forehead to rest against her shoulder. Serapha went utterly still. Then, slowly, her hand lifted to hover near my back. May I? I closed my eyes. Yes, her hand settled between my shoulder blades. Warm, steady, not claiming, holding. The room remained full of witnesses, but no one spoke. For once, I did not feel ashamed of needing to be held. Bond ethics, counsel, moved quickly when scandal involved families, who usually avoided consequences. Callista was summoned for inquiry. Octavia's attempted settlement became evidence. Leora gave a statement too. So did I. Serapha did not let me go alone. She did not speak for me. She sat beside me, in the council chamber, black, suit, immaculate. Gaze cold enough to keep every question respectful. In one council, elder asked whether I had, perhaps, encouraged an informal claim beyond proper station. Serapha turned her head slowly. Elder corrected herself so fast, Marin coughed into her sleeve to hide a laugh. I told the truth. All of it. My voice shook, but it did not break. Callista sat across the chamber. pale and silent, her golden hair pinned back severely. When I described the hallway after the ballroom, her eyes closed. Good. Let her see it. Let her live one breath inside the memory she gave me. At the end, council ordered an emergency dissolution of the half-claim, a ritual medical severance. Painful, necessary. Final, doctor. Old warned me it would hurt. Serapha warned me I could wait. Marin warned the entire council that if anyone made me feel rushed, she would start naming daughters and mistresses until the room emptied from shame. I chose to do it that night, not because I was brave, because I wanted my body back. The severance took place in a quiet medical room at the council house. White walls, silver instruments, a chair that reclined beneath soft light. Dr. Isolde stood on one side. A council healer stood on the other. Serapha waited by the door, because the ritual required the Omega's chosen witness to remain visible, but not touching. Chosen witness. I had chosen her. When the healer asked who would stand for me, my mouth had said Serapha before fear could edit it. Now she stood in the doorway, carved from restraint. Callista was not allowed inside. Good. The healer placed 2 fingers near my mark. This will release the false bond. Body may reach for the alpha who made it. That does not mean you want her. It means the wound is being removed. I nodded. My hands gripped the chair. Begin. The pain was immediate. White, hot, deep, not like being bitten, like the bite being pulled out by the root. Gasped. My back arched. Every cell in my body screamed for Callista. Her scent, her voice, her hands, not love, withdrawal, poison pretending to be longing. I sobbed once. Elowen, Dr. Isolde said. Look at your witness. I opened my eyes. Serapha stood at the door. Her face was pale. Her fists clenched at her sides, but her eyes held mine. I latched onto them. Gray, steady. Mine to look at, not mine to own. There. You are not hers, the healer said. Pain tore through me. I screamed. Serapha's control cracked. Scent rushed into the room for 1 second, fierce and protective. The council healer stiffened. Serapha yanked it back, jaw tight. Sorry, through her teeth. Even in agony, I almost smiled. The healer continued. You are not bound by secrecy. Another wave. My hands shook. You are not bound by shame. The mark burned, then split. Not physically. Deeper. Something inside me snapped. A hook released. The sudden absence was so shocking I stopped breathing. The pain vanished. Not. Slowly. Gone. I lay there, trembling, empty in a way that felt holy. The healer placed a cool cloth against my neck. It is done. Done, the word moved through me. Done, done. Done. I turned my head. Serapha was still at the door. She looked like she had survived a war she had not been allowed to fight. I lifted one shaking hand. Not much. Barely. She crossed the room instantly, then stopped beside the chair. Permission? I could not speak. I nodded. She took my hand, carefully, as if it were precious, as if it were dangerous, as if both things could be true. I cried silently then. Not for Callista, not even for myself, for the version of me who had believed pain was proof of love, for the Omega who had waited outside closed doors, for the woman who had finally walked through one and found it locked behind her only to keep danger out. Serapha held my hand until I stopped shaking. After the severance, the mark changed. The angry red faded to silver. A scar, yes, but no longer alive with someone else's pull. When I looked in the mirror, I still saw damage, but I also saw skin. My skin, my neck, my body, mine. I returned to the hotel 3 days later. Marin cried when she saw me. then denied it so fiercely that I decided never to mention it. Staff kitchen made a cake that said, "Good riddance" in frosting. I laughed until my ribs hurt. Even Serapha came downstairs for one slice. The room went quiet when she entered, but not with fear, with attention. She stood beside me at the counter while I cut the cake badly. I handed her a slice. Our fingers brushed. This time, my body reacted without pain behind it, just warmth, want, a soft pull that came from me, not a wound. Serapha felt it. Her eyes darkened. She accepted the plate. "Thank you. You're welcome." Marin groaned from across the kitchen. "By the moon. Just kiss eventually, or let me retire in peace." The entire kitchen froze. Then Ivara dropped a spoon. Serapha slowly turned her head. "Marin." Marin lifted her chin. I said eventually. The pastry chef whispered. She did say eventually. I covered my face. Serapha looked back at me. For the first time since I met her, I saw color rise faintly along her cheekbones. The kitchen erupted. Not loudly, not disrespectfully. But enough. Laughter. Coughing. Someone clapping once before being slapped lightly with a towel. Serapha set down her untouched cake. "I have work," Marin muttered. "Coward." Serapha paused at the door. "I heard that. I intended you to." Serapha left. I stared at the cake, my face burned. But beneath the embarrassment was something bright, something alive. Later that night, found a note tucked under my staff room door. Not scented, not folded dramatically, just a cream card with precise handwriting. "Elowen, Aaron is impossible, but not always wrong. When you are ready, if you ever are, I would like to take you to dinner somewhere outside the hotel. No doors will lock unless you choose them." Serapha, I read it 17 times. Then I slept with it on the table beside my bed. I did not answer immediately. Not because I wanted to punish her. Because old fear still had roots. Being asked felt so unfamiliar that I needed time to understand the question. Did not contain a trap. Serapha did not ask again. She did not pressure. She did not hover. For 4 days she behaved exactly as before. Professional, distant, careful. By the 5th day, I wanted to throw a towel at her. Instead, I went to her office after my shift. Marin saw me in the elevator and pretended not to smile. "10th floor?" she asked. "Yes." "Cleaning?" "No." "Good." The elevator doors opened. My heart pounded as I walked down the quiet hallway. Time, the 15th floor, did not feel like a place above me. It felt like a place I had survived. I knocked. Serapha opened the door herself. She looked surprised, and still. "Elowen." I held up the cream card. "You said dinner." "I did. Outside the hotel. Yes. No locked doors. Unless you choose them." My throat went dry. "I'm not ready for anything complicated." Her expression softened. "Dinner can be uncomplicated. You." A faint smile. "Probably not entirely." I laughed. She looked at me like the sound mattered, like she would remember it, made me braver. "I want to go," I said. Her eyes warmed. "Then we will. Doi." Dinner was at a small rooftop restaurant owned by a female beta couple who greeted Serapha like an old friend. And me like I was not a scandal. Private room. No hidden entrance. No back door. We sat beneath warm lanterns while the city glittered below. Serapha wore black. Of course, I wore a dark green dress Marin insisted. Made my eyes look as less haunted and more inconvenient. Serapha noticed the dress. She did not say beautiful. Somehow what she said was worse. "That color belongs on you." I forgot how to drink water. Dinner was slow, easy in moments, difficult in others. She asked about my childhood. but not like an investigator. I told her about growing up above my aunt's flower shop, about learning every scent before I learned every letter, about wanting once to become a perfumer before life became smaller. Serapha listened, really listened. When she spoke of herself, it came in careful pieces. Her mother had built the hotel after escaping a bond contract she never wanted. Iris, her grandmother, had been the first Voss alpha to refuse arranged claiming. Serapha had inherited not just the hotel but a family tradition of locked doors opening only from the inside. "That's why you helped me," I said. Her gaze rested on the candle between us. "It is one reason." "What's the other?" She looked up. The city seemed quiet. "Because when you stood in my hallway bleeding and still worried about the carpet, I wanted to kneel at your feet and ask who taught you to value wool over your own body." My breath stopped. Serapha looked away. "I apologize. That was too much." "No," I said quickly. She looked back. My fingers trembled around my glass. "It was exactly too much." Her mouth curved. "Is that good?" "I don't know yet. Honest, I'm trying." The night air moved between us. For the first time, I wondered what it would be like to touch her, without pain, without fear, without another alpha's shadow under my skin. Not to be claimed, to touch. The thought warmed me so quickly I looked away. Serapha noticed. She always noticed. But she did not chase. After dinner, we walked along the rooftop garden. No crowds, no cameras. Just potted olive trees, wet stone, and lantern light. At the railing I stopped. The city spread beneath us. Callista was somewhere in it, facing inquiry, losing influence. Maybe regretting. Maybe not. For the first time, I did not care enough to ache. Serapha stood beside me. "Cold?" "A little." She removed her coat. I almost laughed. Very traditional alpha behavior. She paused. "Would you prefer I didn't?" I looked at the coat, then at her. "No." She placed it around my shoulders. Not touching my neck, not lingering. The coat was warm from her body. Night jasmine wrapped around me. This time, there was no broken bond to confuse the feeling. Only me. Only my body saying yes in a language I was relearning. "Serapha," I whispered. Her eyes shifted to mine. It was the first time I had said her name without title. The effect was immediate. Her pupils darkened. Her breath changed. Barely. But I saw. The knowledge moved through me like heat. She wanted me. Not as property. Not as a secret. Not as a thing to hide. She wanted, and restrained herself because my choice mattered more. That undid me. "Can I ask something?" I said. "Anything. If I wanted you to kiss me someday." Her stillness became absolute. "Someday," she repeated. I nodded. "Not tonight, I don't think. Maybe. I don't know. I laughed nervously. "I'm bad at this now." Her voice was quiet. "You are not bad at this. You are careful with yourself." My eyes burned. I hated how easily she could do that. Turn shame into something softer. "If I wanted that someday," I continued, "would you?" Serapha turned fully toward me. The lantern light caught the sharp lines of her face. Yes. The answer was simple. Immediate. No performance. Teasing. My heart stumbled. "Oh," her mouth curved. "Oh?" I expected something more controlled. I am being controlled. My gaze dropped to her hands. They were clasped behind her back. Tightly. I smiled before I could stop myself. "You look like you're negotiating with yourself." "I am. Winning?" "No." A laugh broke out of me. Serapha's expression softened so intensely I had to look away. The rooftop felt suddenly too intimate, too open, too real. I stepped closer. One step. Serapha did not move. I lifted my hand and touched her sleeve. Her breath stopped. Mine, too. Such a small touch. Fabric under my fingers. Warmth beneath. No pain, no panic, no hook. Just want. My want, I whispered. Not tonight. Serapha nodded. Not tonight. But someday. Her voice lowered. Whenever you choose. I kept her coat around my shoulders all the way back to the hotel. 3 weeks later, Callista was formally censured by the Bond Ethics Council. Her family lost 2 major contracts. Octavia Vey stopped appearing in society columns. Leora dissolved her arrangement and left the city with her sister for the coast. And me? I kept cleaning. Not because I had nowhere else to go now, because I liked the work. I liked the way rooms became orderly under my hands. I liked the staff kitchen at midnight. I liked Baron's terrible advice and Ivara's cinnamon rolls and Solen's scandal predictions. I liked earning my own wage, liked having a staff room with a lock only I controlled. And I liked the way Serapha Voss looked at me when she thought no one noticed. Everyone noticed. Everyone. Marin suffered loudly. One evening, during a charity gala at the hotel, I worked the staff corridor behind the ballroom. The event was all women in dark gowns, jeweled throats, alpha politics wrapped in perfume and champagne. I was carrying folded napkins when I heard Callista's name. I stopped. 2 guests stood near the service arch. Both female alphas, both unaware I was behind the floral partition. Vey's daughter deserved worse, one said. She was foolish, the other replied. Voss overreacted. All that for a little cleaner. My body went cold. A little cleaner. The words should not have reached me. They did. Serapha's voice entered. Say it again. Silence. I closed my eyes, not from fear, from the terrible certainty that Serapha had heard. The first alpha stammered. Alpha Voss. I didn't mean. You did. The second tried to laugh. It was only gossip. No. Gossip requires wit. That was laziness. A pause. Then Serapha continued. Elowen Meyer is a member of my staff, a woman under my protection. The reason several powerful families are currently pretending not to panic. If you need a title to respect her, says more about your breeding than hers. My breath caught. The women apologized. Badly. Serapha did not accept. A moment later, stepped through the service arch, and found me standing there, with napkins pressed to my chest. Her expression changed. You heard. Yes, I'm sorry. Why? You defended me. I would rather you did not have to hear why. I looked at her. The gala lights glowed behind her. Women laughed. Beyond the curtain, unaware that my whole world had narrowed to the alpha standing in front of me. I set the napkins on a side table, then I stepped closer. Serapha went still. Elowen. I'm choosing something. Her eyes darkened. What? I lifted my hand and touched her jaw. Her control broke in silence. No movement, no scent flood. Just the sudden, visible effort. It took for her not to lean into my palm too quickly. Restraint made my chest ache. I don't want to be kissed because someone defended me, I whispered. No, I don't want to be kissed because I'm grateful. No, I don't want to be kissed because I'm hurt. Serapha's voice was rough. No, voice. My thumb moved once against her skin. I want to be kissed because I want you. Her eyes closed for half a second. When they opened, the gray was almost silver. Are you sure? No. She stopped. I smiled, trembling. I'm not sure of everything, but I'm sure of this. Serapha lifted her hand, stopped before touching me. May I? I breathed in, no pain, no ghosts, as Callista. Only night, Jasmine, only choice, yes. Serapha kissed me, like she had built entire cities out of restraint, and was afraid one wrong movement would burn them down. Soft at first, questioning. Her lips warm against mine, her hand hovering near my waist, until I made a small, impatient sound and pulled her closer by the lapel of jacket. Then her hand settled at my waist, careful, firm, not claiming, holding. The kiss deepened. Heat moved through me, slow and bright, nothing like the frantic hunger I had mistaken for love months before. This was not a door slamming shut. This was a door opening and waiting to see whether I crossed. I did. I kissed her back. Serapha made a low sound against my mouth, the kind of sound that proved control had edges. My omega shivered, not from fear, from power returning to my own skin. When we parted, my fingers were still curled in her jacket. Her forehead rested lightly against mine. "Still sure?" she whispered. I laughed breathlessly. "No." Her eyes opened. I smiled. "More sure." The corner of her mouth curved. Then Marin's voice came from somewhere behind the partition. Twice. I am choosing to pretend I saw nothing for exactly 10 seconds. After that, one of you had better return those napkins. Buried my face against Serapha's shoulder. Serapha sighed. Marin. 8 seconds. I felt Serapha's laugh in her chest. It was quiet. Private. Mine to hear. Not mine to own. That was enough. The kiss did not fix me. Love never does, not by itself. The scar remained. Some nights, still woke, reaching for a pain that was no longer there. Some mornings, shame tried to wear my voice. Some days, when powerful women entered the lobby laughing, too loudly, I became the omega in the ballroom again, waiting for someone to deny me. Now I had answers. A room with my own lock, a job with my own name. Friends who burned letters and baked vulgar cakes. Doctor who called trauma by its proper name, as in Serapha. Not as a savior, not as an owner, not as an alpha who took my broken pieces and called them hers. Serapha who waited. Serapha who asked. Serapha who could make an entire lobby silent with one step and still stood outside my door until I invited her in. Months later, Vale Nocturne held its winter gala. The same ballroom, where women like Callista had once decided whose love counted and whose did not. This time, I entered through the front doors not as staff, not hidden, not with a scarf around my throat. I wore a black velvet dress, with a high slit and silver clasp at the shoulder. My hair was pinned up, leaving my neck bare. The scar showed, pale crescent under the lights. I had thought I would cover it. At the last moment I did not. Marin cried again, then threatened to fire anyone who mentioned it. I stood at the top of the staircase, fingers trembling around my small clutch. Below, the ballroom shimmered, all women. Female alphas in tailored suits, female omegas in silk dresses, female betas with champagne glasses and sharp smiles. No men, no male figures, no masculine shadows, just a world of women watching. As I stepped into a life I had once believed would never open for me. Serapha waited at the foot of the stairs, black suit, silver cufflinks, hair pinned back, eyes fixed on me with such open pride that my chest hurt. She offered her hand, not demanded, offered, always offered. I took it. A murmur moved through the room, not scandal, recognition. Serapha lifted my hand and kissed my knuckles, slowly, publicly. My breath caught. "Too much," she murmured. I looked at the room, at the women watching, at the doors, at the chandeliers, the life that had once required me to enter through service alleys with my collar pulled high. Then I looked at Serapha. "No," I said. Her eyes warmed. Good, the music began. She led me onto the floor. I had never danced without fear before. Lesta had danced with me once in private, barefoot in her apartment. Curtains closed, laughing softly, as if secrecy were romance. Serapha danced with me beneath chandeliers. No hiding, no apology. Her hand rested at my waist, mine on her shoulder. Scar on my neck caught the light. I let it. Halfway through the dance, Serapha leaned close. "You are very quiet. I'm thinking. About first night I came here." Her expression softened. "In the rain. With one suitcase and a scarf." I nodded. "You locked the door." Serapha's eyes searched mine. I closed it. "You locked it after Callista called." "Yes." "Why?" "To keep her out." I smiled. "I know that now." The music turned slower. Her hand tightened slightly at my waist. "And then?" she asked. "And then you asked before touching me." Her face changed. The memory passed between us. Blood, ribbon, rain, fear. "May I?" I stepped closer. "You ruined me a little," I whispered. Concern flashed in her eyes, mild before she could worry. In a better way. Her breath eased. "How?" "Now I can't mistake taking for love." Serapha's gaze deepened. "Good. Now I expect doors to open from my side." "Good. Now I know I can say no." Her voice lowered. "Always." The word wrapped around me. Not like a claim, like a vow. I looked at her mouth. She noticed. Of course she noticed. "Here," she asked. A smile touched my lips. "Scared?" Her eyes flashed. "No." "Controlled?" "Barely." I laughed. Then I kissed her first. In the middle of the ballroom, in front of every woman who had ever believed omegas should be grateful for shadows. Serapha's hand pressed to my back. The room vanished, not because I was hiding from it, because I no longer needed it to approve. When we parted, the ballroom was silent. Then Marin clapped once. Hard. Sound cracked through the room like thunder. Ivara followed. Then Solène. Then the staff near the walls. Then, slowly, the guests. Applause rose beneath the chandeliers. Serapha looked at me, stunned in the smallest, most private way. I laughed softly. "Your hotel likes drama. My hotel likes justice." "And you," her thumb brushed once over my knuckles. "I like you." My heart tripped. After everything, after every grand defense and dangerous silence and nearly unbearable restraint, that simple sentence was the one that made me blush. "I like you too," I whispered. Serapha smiled, and this time she did not look away. Later, when the gala ended and the last guests left through the front doors, I stood alone for a moment in the empty lobby. The chandeliers dimmed. The marble floors reflected soft gold. Rain touched the windows again, gentle now. I walked to the front doors and looked out at the street. Somewhere beyond the city lights, Callista Vey existed as a lesson my body no longer obeyed. Somewhere in the hotel, Marin was probably terrorizing the banquet staff. Somewhere upstairs, Serapha waited because she had learned that waiting could be a form of devotion. I touched the scar on my neck. It did not hurt, even a little. The service alley where I had arrived months ago was on the other side of the building, narrow and wet and hidden from the beautiful entrance. I thought about the woman I had been that night. Cold, terrified, bleeding, certain that every locked door meant danger. I wished I could go back and take her hand. I wished I could tell her that the door would close. Yes, but not all closed doors are cages. Some are shields, some are boundaries, some are rooms where an alpha with gray eyes kneels in front of you and says that none of it was your shame. Some are the first safe place you sleep, are the beginning of learning the sound of your own yes. Behind me, Serapha's footsteps approached. I knew them now, Measured. Quiet. Hers. Stopped beside me. Ready? I turned. For what? Her mouth curved. Whatever you choose next. The answer should have frightened me. Once, choice had felt like a trick. Now it felt like a key in my palm. I looked at the front doors, then at the woman beside me, Alpha of the Vale Nocturne. Not my owner, not my savior, my choice. I slipped my hand into hers, then opened the door. Serapha did, and this time, voice. I walked out through the front,